This next story will catch your attention. It's about a priest who does thousands of exorcisms a year all around central Indiana.
What's really interesting, he says the isolation that the pandemic has brought has only made it worse. Wish TV's Dan Klein sat down with Father Vince Lampert and talked about his faith, his experiences, and his message to skeptics.
Yeah, Father Vince Lampert grew up on the west side of Indianapolis in the Hallville neighborhood. He's actually the 7th of 9 children. When he was initially appointed to the exorcism ministry, he was one of 12 in the United States. Now there's more than 125, and after 15 years, he's seen it all.
I've seen, so whether it's levitation, eyes rolled in the back of the head, the foaming at the mouth, people fall on the floor and slither like a snake across the ground.
Actions straight from a Hollywood script, but Father Vince Lampert says it's a battle that priests have been fighting for millennia.
Is there anything that scares you?
No, not when it comes to demonic. I don't lose any sleep over this.
Lampert is the appointed exorcist for the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Indianapolis. He's also the pastor of 2 parishes in Franklin County, which includes Brookville. He's been the Archbishop's appointed exorcist for 15 years, since the previous person passed away. And he's got a sense of humor about it.
I always say I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I looked around to make sure there wasn't somebody else standing behind me that he was actually talking to.
He went to Rome, where he was an apprentice under a Franciscan priest for 3 months. It was an eye-opening experience that taught him not to focus on the forces he was battling against, but the power he has at his disposal.
It's not me. I don't have any special powers or abilities. If we're relying on me, we're all in trouble. But if we're relying on the power and the authority of Jesus Christ that he's given to his church, that's the right sentiment to have.
The church recognizes 4 types of extraordinary demonic activity. Mental attacks, called obsessions. Physical attacks, called vexations. Demonic possession, like in the movie The Exorcist. And infestations of objects or locations, like here on the campus of Marian University, where some people believe the Allison Mansion is haunted.
I do thousands of those a year, but true cases of demonic possession, maybe 1 a year.
You heard that right. Thousands of cases a year. And while there are plenty of programs on cable television involving this subject and people hunting ghosts, Lampert's got no interest.
I don't watch any of those programs on TV anymore. I figure I get to see it real, so there's no purpose to watching it. You know, a lot of those programs are true.
Lampert used to get 5 to 6 calls a day from all over the world. Now it's 10 to 12. He's trained to be ever the skeptic. His first step is to get someone in touch with their local priest or pastor who can provide more ongoing care long term. Then it's a matter of eliminating all other possible causes like mental or physical illness before landing on the supernatural.
I should be the last one to believe that somebody's actually dealing with the demonic.
He'll even use some secret tests to make sure someone isn't faking or perhaps misled. For example, pulling out tap water rather than holy water. Part of the process is to determine the entry point. Often, it's the occult. As for the average person,
the average person does not need to worry about demonic possession. Evil is nothing to fear. You know, if a person truly has faith, there's nothing to fear. You know, if you're a person of faith, if you're living out your relationship with God, if you're praying, you know, the devil's already on the run.
Many exorcists choose to keep their identity secret. Lampert does not. In fact, the pandemic gave him the time he needed to write a book about his experiences. He wants to share his ministry to educate others.
For skeptics, you know, I can just propose. I look at myself as an ambassador for the church, so I present what the church believes and teaches, and then ultimately it's up to people to decide what they're going to do with that.
Father Lampert tells me there are 2 different types of prescribed prayer for exorcisms. One is a supplication to God asking for help. One is a command for a demon to leave. He says they always have an effect, but in cases it takes some repeat trips, he always finds the individual is always holding on to something or holding back the full truth. Reporting in the studio, Dan Klein, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
Wow. Quite the story, Dan. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.